What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Niners News here on 49ers Hive. My name is Zach Hernandez, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Matt Llewellyn, and today we're going to be talking about Slim Mike being extra slim again. Matt, another game, another poor performance for Mike McGlinchey, at least in pass protection.
Yeah.
What is with this guy? Is this something that's even correctable?
He needs to gain weight. I mean, I'm telling you guys, I'm going to put this up on Twitter. I'm going to put a Twitter montage of pictures up of Slim Mike being slim, extra slim, uber slim all over the floor because he got knocked down again today. And it seems to be in pass protection. Listen, he's an above average run blocker. I mean, he can get out and fire, but that's the simple part of the game, right? You're blowing off the line straight into somebody and you're blocking that person. You know your assignment. It's not as, you're not worried about, does this guy do power moves? Does this guy do finesse pass rush moves? Are they going to run a stunt blitz or whatever? Run blocking is very proactive, whereas pass blocking is reactive. And Mike could hide a little bit of it when he was heavier because it's really hard to just blow a heavy dude off the line, right? Like it's just really hard to push that guy back and, knock him over because weight means something. I mean, there's mass, there's inertia. We can get in all kinds of physics arguments here or whatever. The problem with Mike is at this current weight that he's at, it can no longer hide his very bad feet when it comes to pass blocking. His feet are awful. He makes false steps. He, gets back on his heels too much. He's too high. He's making a ton of mistakes in terms of technique. And you have to look at the offensive line coaches at some point and say, like, hey, these are correctable things that you really need to work with him on. The front office has acknowledged that they're going to try to get him to gain weight, and absolutely he needs to. We bring it up every week, the Mike McGlinchey tweet where he's like, I'm still here. And it's like, kind of, but not really. He's been almost radio silent since that tweet, and I think he knows he made a mistake. It's another mistake to leave it up. I think you need to delete that tweet. I think you need to go into the kitchen or go to Chipotle or go to a pizza joint, get yourself some food, stuff it down your gullet, and get back up to respectable lineman weight and not tight end weight. Because the way that Mike McGlinchey has been playing this year has been awful. And I'm sure he's a nice person, and this is no way meant in a personal way or anything like that. The play is not up to standard for a 9th overall pick in the NFL draft. No way, no how. I don't care who you are. You can't be out there and logically defend him. And I know that people will try. We all know those hack Twitter warriors that will get out there and be like, Mike McGlinchey doesn't play that bad. Yeah, he does. Name me another lineman who's been on his backside as much as Mike McGlinchey this year. Do it. You can't.
You can't. It reminds me of those like galaxy brain memes where it's like, small brain, Mike McGlinchey played badly, medium-sized brain, not so good, and then huge brain, Mike McGlinchey's horrible, and then galaxy brain, Mike McGlinchey's actually good. It's like you go from bad and then back to good. It's like, how does this make any sense? I don't think anybody, even the size, even though he's skinny, even at that size, nobody should be on their ass as much as Mike McGlinchey is. He definitely needs to pack on the pounds. However, he got this slim. I don't know how that's possible, especially when you're on an NFL regimen or
he was hanging out with Joe Staley.
I mean, yeah, that's got to be what it was.
Joe Staley, no off season, couldn't put back on the weight.
That's exactly, yeah. COVID, you're not actually there in person. No off season, shortened OTAs, the whole 9 yards. I think all of that culminated into a slim McGlinchey going into this season.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put up on Twitter. I'm gonna put up on Twitter for the people because you can look it up, but I'm gonna do the legwork for you. Okay. I'm gonna put up a picture of him at Notre Dame versus him this year, and the difference is stark.
All 3 quarterbacks,
right? Because his pass protection is abysmal, and even PFF with their nebulous, awful grading system can tell you that he's been bad. But I mean, the proof is in the pudding. There's pictures upon pictures of him just being knocked on the ground all the time, and it's so bad, so bad.
It really is. And one thing that I want to touch on too is I don't know how you can regress as much as he has with anything other than just physicality. So his sophomore year, after he came back from injury, he had that really bad game against Seattle. But after that, he seemed to get better again. And then this year, it's just been really bad. And I don't know what it is other than weight. It seems like he understands what he's supposed to be doing and he gets it. I don't know if it's a matter of will, and I never want to question a man's character or drive or anything like that. But I really don't know if this is what he wants to do. And we need to find out, because if not, please step out of the way so we can get somebody who does. And at this point, I think the 49ers are in a really tough position where they have to choose between taking another premium position in the first round or replacing a guy who you just picked a premium position to replace at a couple of years ago. It's unfortunate, but that's where they are.
Yeah, I think really this is a situation. I don't know if it's a desire because he plays hard, and it's not like he's out all the time with injury. I mean, that guy,
True.
He takes a beating. I mean, he's taking a beating this year. The knock on him, even coming out, was that in pass protection, especially on his back foot, he's a little too upright, and you can get away with that a little bit if you're 315 pounds. But if you're 260 pounds, your center of gravity's high like that. That's why he's getting knocked on his backside. I don't think it's a desire thing. I do think that it's very much the weight thing. And I think it was just a thing of, like, look, we all know that he was bosom buddies, brothers, idolized Joe Staley. Joe Staley has lost a ton of weight in his retirement. I honestly think they were hanging out in the offseason, and you can't help but, like, do what your buddy does, right? You do what your bro does. And so he lost weight. And then with COVID, he didn't have that opportunity to get into the NFL strength and conditioning program. The one where they hand you a dumbbell and a ham sandwich. He wasn't able to put the weight back on, and I think that's really affected his play. And I think that's why you hear, normally you never hear like somebody coming out and talking about weight unless it's the opposite way, right? Like, oh, we need this guy to lose some weight. We put into your contract, you need to be under this weight or otherwise you don't get your bonus or whatever. We saw it with a couple players. This is one where John Lynch is coming out and being like, yeah, we're probably going to ask him to gain weight in the offseason because he's too small as it is. You never see that. And I think part of it is circumstance. Part of it was just poor planning. McGlinchey's still a really young guy. I think that coaches need to get in his ear and teach him the value of proper nutrition, much like I think they should do with Deebo Samuel in the opposite direction with proper nutrition and conditioning. There's a fine line in the NFL game, and I think that McGlinchey just kind of went a little bit too far with the weight loss, and it cost him.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it could cost him, I don't want to say his entire career, but it could cost him his time with the 49ers. I know he's only got 1 year left. I don't envision them moving on. I don't see what other options they have at this point. But the one thing I do say is, just like you mentioned earlier, thank God he's not at left tackle. Thank God they were able to get Trent Williams, because if you all remember, that was the original plan, at least what it seemed like the team was saying. We're having him for a year, and then when Joe Staley rides off into the sunset, we can move Mike McGlinchey over to left tackle, which I believe is where he played at Notre Dame, right?
Yeah, he played left tackle. And, that's the other thing, too. And we talked about this in the postgame. I think that if you can get him his own Quentin Nelson on the 49ers, right, that Quentin Nelson syndrome, get him a really good right guard. And I think that hides some of his mistakes. And I think that helps him out. Mm-hmm. I think that Quentin Nelson did a lot to make Mike McGlinchey look better. And that's something that maybe he can use in the interim if you think that you can work with him. Put the weight back on, get him somebody to work with next to him, see what happens. So he's going into his fourth year. They have a big determination whether or not they're going to pick up his fifth year after this. He's got to get it together quick. Otherwise, like you said, his time with the 49ers could be cut short real quick.
Yep. And I think we're going to leave it at that, guys. I want to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Niners News here on 49ers Hive. If you guys like what you see, you think we're doing a great job covering the team, covering this topic, do us a solid. Hit that subscribe button below. We are trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. As soon as we do, we're going to be giving away our 7th 49ers jersey. Do us a solid and help us get there as soon as possible. Hit that subscribe button. Drop a like on this video as well if you like this coverage. And also drop a comment below. What do you think about Mike McGlinchey? Do you think he's too thin? Do you think it's an effort issue? Do you think he's able to pack those pounds back on and return to that first-round pick status from just a couple of years ago next season?
Go ahead and click the bell for notifications. We love having you here. Comment below. Like Zach said, Thank you as always for joining us. Until next time, go Niners.